Alright, let's go play Flint, by request, for Warlock. Come on, hit the battle button. There we go. I talk about good bourbon all the time on this channel. I don't talk about good Scotch enough. I think it's because I have such a narrow definition of what good Scotch really is. Oh, Tier 6 carrier. Rip that dude. Alright, what do we got? 1 radar with the Belfast. 2 radar out of the Atlanta. Okay. 1 destroyer. Some battleships to farm. Some battleships to farm. Standard battle even. Okay. Weekend, about one of the only Scotches I've found that I can actually drink and enjoy is the stuff that I have tonight. That's the Glenmorangie G18. I have not found a Macallan yet that I care for. My wife is the Macallan drinker in the family. She's got a bottle of Macallan downstairs, a bottle of Talisker she really likes. My brother-in-law introduced me to one called Auchentoshan, which is not my favorite. He bought a bottle a couple of Christmases ago when he was here and drank most of it and left a little bit for me to finish. I finished it off because I wanted it out of my cabinet, not because it was particularly amazing. For me, I've found that I really enjoy the Highland Scotches. The peaty, the Speyside, the Lowland stuff is too smoky for me most of the time, and I don't care for it. It's just a personal choice, personal taste. I'm trying to remember, where was I? I was in Manchester. Manchester? Manchester. One of my very last, my dead last international trip of 2014. 2014, I flew a lot of miles. I flew a lot of miles in 2014. I clocked probably 170,000 air miles in 2014. My last trip of the year was Houston to Manchester and back. And the route that I took home was what I normally did, especially after I moved back from Canada, was I would take the direct from Frankfurt. Wherever I was in the continent, I'd get to Frankfurt late at night in the evening. I'd take a flight to Frankfurt when the day was over. I'd spend the night there at the Sheraton in Frankfurt. I'd get up and I'd take one of the direct flights, Frankfurt-Houston, back in the morning, which was usually, occasionally the Lufthansa flight, usually the United flight. This particular trip, I was leaving Manchester. It was a Friday evening, and I'm at the airport, and in the airport, there was this like World of Scotches store that I'd never seen before. I forget what it's called. Something like this, like World of Scotch. I should remember that I'm not playing a destroyer this game, huh? That would be really, really, really good to remember. Anyway, so I got time to kill at the airport, so I go to check this place out, and I get in there, I'm just wandering around, and one of the guys, the guy working the store, the nice gentleman manning the store, starts talking to me. He says, can we help you find anything? What are you looking for? And I said, man, I don't know anything. I know so little about Scotch, it's laughable. And he said, well, let me help you. And so the store was organized by region, right? That was how they had it set up. Was that each region had a section of the store, whether you were Speyside or Highland or Lowland or whatever. And so he started taking me around the store and explaining to me kind of what each of the regions was, like what it was they did, what the flavors were generally like, and all this sort of thing. And it was super educational. I really enjoyed it. I had a great time talking to this guy. I learned a ton. And I got to put some of that knowledge to the test the next morning. Well, they're actually a chain, Castle. It was really fascinating. Because I've seen one at Heathrow as well. Anyways, the next morning, I'm gonna out myself here a little bit. The destroyer is over here. The Jervis is here. How interesting. Where are you, Mr. Jervis? Ah, well, there's your torpedoes. I need to not eat this one that's heading right for me. Sorry. Woo! That was close.
Time to put on the beer goggles.
This York has got a death wish. He apparently thinks driving through the middle of the board is the solution to all of life's problems. We need to disabuse him of this notion. Anyhow, back to my Scotch story. So the next morning, I'm taking the Lufthansa flight home. Now, one of the nice things, once you fly enough miles with United, you get these upgrade certificates. They're called global. They were called global upgrades. I think they're still. They might have kept the name. They might have changed the name. I don't remember. It's a little known trick that you can use those to upgrade on partner airlines one fare class. The project I was working on, they had bought me a business class seat back from the UK. Hang on a minute. We got to kill this York. He's about to stand in our cap circle. I think the Sims is finally going to get him. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so they had bought me business class seat back on Lufthansa. So I spent one of my little certs and I upgraded my seat to first class. So I flew Lufthansa first class back from Frankfurt to Houston on this Airbus. This is an A380. Bot is working again, Rage. Anyways, when you fly for Lufthansa first class out of Frankfurt, you have access to not just their first class lounge. They have a special terminal building that is unique. I saw the torpedo indicator. Where was it? It is a separate terminal building that you may enter and make use of as a first class passenger. So you walk over and there's a separate entrance, a separate security screening, all of this stuff. It's honestly, it's a little crazy. But I wanted to do this once just to kind of say I'd done it. So one of the fun things about doing this is that while you're in this first class terminal, you have access to the first class complimentary bar. And that is where the fun began, because about 8 o'clock in the morning, I sidled up to the bar in this big fancy terminal, and these guys had an amazing selection of scotches. Amazing selection. And the bartender was like, "Can I help you?" And I was like, "You know what? I think I want to taste some scotch." And he's like, "Well, what would you like?" And there's like a wall of alcohol behind this guy, right? It's a first class terminal. You can imagine the stuff. So I just started pointing at stuff, and he would pull it down. And I made it very clear, like, it's morning. I haven't even had breakfast yet. I'm like, I want to try things, right? I want samples. He's pouring me like doubles of everything he pulls off the shelf. It was really funny. Anyways, I would routinely not finish whatever he would put in front of me, but it was fun. It was fun to do, and I have pictures of that morning. It was one of my favorite memories of that trip and that project, honestly, because it's the kind of thing that I wouldn't have gotten to do without that particular project. You know, footing the bill for some of that stuff. It was a good morning, Edge Case. It was a really good morning, and the fun thing is, I wasn't even drunk on the flight, right? I got a little bit of a buzz, and then I went and got some breakfast. But it was mostly about trying stuff. You know, they had a variety of things that I could try. Wasn't costing me anything, so I said, why not? Earlier in the year, I had he blew up my torpedo tubes. That jerk. Earlier in the year, we had taken an Asiana first class flight, New York to Seoul, on vacation. And I had done something similar. They had what did they have? They had Johnny Walker Blue. And you know how you read when you drink a lot of whiskey, Johnny Walker Blue is it's crazy expensive. It's all this stuff. I was like, I want to try this stuff. I want to figure it out. I want to see if it's any good. See what all the hubbub's about. And so I'm on this flight and I ordered some of this stuff. And you know what? I really wasn't all that impressed with it. It wasn't that amazing. This guy is consistently behind me and I am slow. Like, I am fat and slow. Okay, I'm overshooting him. I'm overshooting him somehow. Okay, if he's going to turn back, I'm going to smoke.
Time to put on the beer goggles.
Just keep spotting him, Sims. Just keep spotting him. I got this. No, don't smoke. Oh, Sims, I needed you to spot for me, dude. You were supposed to spot. Come on, man. Destroy your fundamentals. Odysseus, things are going okay. It's an interesting night so far. I think we're about to kill this Dallas. I feel like I blew a smoke and I didn't need to. That really irritates me a bit. Alright, we killed the Dallas. Let's go get up in their cap circle. I'm gonna make this Ryujo come after me. That'll give me something to do. I could also sit in this smoke cloud by the Sims and wait for these battleships to come for me, but I don't think I'm going to do that. I'm going to go put some pressure on their cap. Their entire eastern flank has folded. Every ship they have is on the 1-2 line. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do, Edge. Hmm. You know, Quad, I've had some good Italian wine. We lived in Canada. One of our favorite places to eat in town was the Neapolitan pizza place. Man, they had a good selection of wine. We definitely tried some of that stuff. Oh, Woodford. Woodford is good. I like the double oaked better. Like, there's nothing wrong with plain Woodford. I just like the double oaked better. I think it's a smoother, better tasting product. All right, let's see. Well, we're in their cap now. That'll give them something to think about. Hopefully make them angry. There are some really good wines from France, Shake. You're absolutely right. There's, like... And what it is about the French wines, like, they've been doing it so long, they're just really, really good at it. You know? They've been doing it for literally for centuries now. That they have... I won't say they've mastered it, because I think there's always room for improvement, but they're really good at it. Now, the other thing, a lot of French wine for me is too dry. I am not a huge fan of dry wines. My favorite wines tend to be... like, few things... I love a good Malbec, right? The Argentinian, the Chilean Malbecs. I really like a good Malbec. I'm definitely a Shiraz kind of guy when you start talking about Australian wines.
Time to put on the beer goggles.
But there are definitely a lot of good French wines. You are not wrong. Think I can burn this Bayern down before he gets here? I'm thinking that I can. I'm willing to bet you that I can.
Another day, another disembark.
Now, I've got some help. Lots of people shooting at this dude. He's starting to look a little saturated, though. I'm not getting a lot out of these salvos. Yeah, I expected him... I didn't... I gotta check my detection in smoke now, actually. Which is 4.6. Alright. Switch to the AP. He's gonna show me that salvo. That angle, he's gonna get the AP. Well, I'm about to solo cap their base. Oh, look who I found! Hi, Mr. Jervis. You've got 20 seconds, and I've got my Hydra up, so good luck, sir. And he's going out right here. Just in time for me to get a solo full cap in Flint. There you go, I guess. The Arizona was coming up behind me, but he wasn't going to get there. No, I agree, Badger. I agree, Badger. And you saw... So here's the thing that I don't like about this nerf that they're going through with on Flint, right? You saw I spent a decent amount of time getting salvos on squishy-ish battleships at long range, 13.3 kilometers, right? Once you learn how to lead these guns, you can make them work. Forcing me into 11.1 with a ship that has a detection of 10 and change? What are you doing? What are you doing? Stop this insanity. Stop it. The only reason I can think that they're doing that is because there was a time that Flint was a ship that was largely in the hands of players that were more advanced, better players, just because of how you could earn it. You earned it by ranking out multiple times. Now, that wasn't always the case, because there's plenty of people who've ranked out lots of times that don't know the bow end of the ship from the stern. But in general, Ranking out was a demonstration of I know what it takes to win a game, and Flint gives you lots of tools to do that. So Flint has a really good win rate. Like if you go look at the NA server win rates, I'm pretty confident the ship has a pretty solid win rate. But now here's my problem. Flint is now available for steel. For coal. This is a ship that's going to get a wider and wider circulation as people buy it, and the fancy numbers that they use to balance things aren't going to look as good, in my opinion. And I really feel like what they're doing is going to seriously hurt the ship like too far. It's going to drop from being a really, really good ship to being a horrible one, and then they're going to have to buff it back to like mediocrity, right? That's what I'm afraid is going to happen with Flint.